On Global TV News Express, Army moves to strengthen security measures. In business, federal government, World Bank align agenda to digitally empower young Nigerians. On the foreign scene, Russia declares unilateral ceasefire in Ukraine for May 8 to 10. And in sport, Remo Stars seal first ever NPFL title with Tornadoes win. Hello and a very warm welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express of Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I'm Uyi Agmofwegwe, reminding our viewers that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times 276. You can download the Global TV Nigeria mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our 247 broadcast. The Nigerian Army has appealed to citizens to avoid wearing military uniforms illegally, emphasizing that respecting the uniform is an important part of strengthening national security and building trust between the military and public. Chief of Civil Military Major General Gold Chibuisi made these known during a chat with defense correspondents in Abuja. Kikalomo Okere has details.
Speaking during a media chat with the defense correspondent in Abuja, the Chief of Civil Military Affairs, Army Major General Gold Chibuisi says the misuse of military attire by unauthorized persons not only violates the law but also aid criminal activities. Highlighting the security risk, Chibuisi noted that criminals increasingly exploit military uniform to commit crimes, making it harder for civilians and security agencies to identify genuine soldiers. He stressed that the law must be respected to maintain the integrity and safety of the armed forces, warning that offenders will face the wrath of the law. The Chief of Civil Military further called for deeper civil-military relations and urged Nigerians to see Nigerian Army as their own institution, saying that soldiers are members of the communities and not outsiders or violent enforcers.
Army, and that's why I say that the media is very important in being for us to be able to communicate that to the Nigerian people. It is their army. They should be able to say our army is doing this. Not soldiers they do. No, our soldiers are doing this. And it is when you own the army, you see a lot of things come with it. Those of us in the army, we've had, yes, in some places you go, people look at you with awe, but that's not what we are looking for. We want to see the way they see us as members of their families, because we are not from the moon. We are from homes and communities within the Nigerian state. See the military, you see them as your people, working for you, making sacrifices for you, and understanding the role that for that they have contributed to building the country that we have, and they will help as we continue to build our country into the future.
The Chief of Civil Military further called on the media and the public to assist in sensitization efforts, stressing that offenders should be arrested and prosecuted rather than subjected to extrajudicial treatments. Kikalomo Okere, Global Television News.
Thank you, Kikalomo. Bayelsa State government has expressed dismay over the shooting incident during a political rally organized in the state by the New Associates Group. Gunmen suspected to be sponsored political thugs had disrupted the rally and inauguration of the new group at the Church of God Mission Camp at Igbogene, Yenagoa in Bayelsa State. Operatives of the Delta State Police Command have shot dead 5 suspected kidnappers in a fierce gun battle. Police Public Relations Officer of the State Command, Bright Edafe, confirmed in a statement that the suspected kidnappers had engaged the operatives in the gun battle after a raid on one of their hideouts in forests between Isele Azagba and Utulu. He said the operatives had earlier stormed another of the kidnappers' hideouts in Agu and Wambia forests in Anambra State, where they recovered one AK-47 rifle and 132 rounds of live ammunition. At least 5 persons have lost their lives in an explosion in a residential area in Omoku, headquarters of the Ogba Egbema Ndoni local government area of Rivers State. Fine Face Duna Mene, an environmentalist and executive director of the Youth and Environmental Advocacy Center, confirmed the incident in a statement. It was learned that the blast was said to have occurred in one of the rooms in a residential area used for storing illegally refined petroleum products. This is Global Television, and you're watching the live broadcast of News Express with Uyi Agmofwegbe. When the rest of the news returns, Russia declares unilateral ceasefire in Ukraine for May 8 to 10. Details coming shortly, plus business and sports stories on the other side of this break. Do stay with us.
Do you know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch Global Television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Thank you so very much for staying with us, everyone. The second part of this news broadcast now returns with business, where the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Olayemi Kadoso, says the reforms implemented by President Bola Tinubu's government in the past 18 months are not easy, but delivering results. This is according to Cardozo's excerpts released upon the closure of the 2025 IMF World Bank spring meetings in Washington, D.C. in the U.S. He explained that Nigeria's delegation attended the meetings to showcase economic reforms under President Bola Tinubu's administration. In another development, the Central Bank of Nigeria says it has raised a total of over 1 trillion naira at its open market operations auction held on Friday, April 25, 2025. This follows an overwhelming investor demand that led to a 102% oversubscription. The Apex Bank's data indicates that the auction, which initially had offered 500 billion naira across 2 maturities, attracted total bids of nearly 1.4 trillion naira. The monthly statutory allocations to state governments from the Federation accounts may decline in the coming months following an official request by the Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority, NSIA, to boost the nation's residual funds with the support of 100 billion naira on a monthly basis. The request, which was presented by the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the authority, Aminu Umar Sadiq, is aimed at unlocking large-scale investments to drive Nigeria's economic growth. He made the request at the March Revenue Sharing meeting of the Federation Accounts Allocation Committee meeting. On the foreign scene, Russia has declared 72-hour unilateral ceasefire in Ukraine and called on Kyiv to agree to the pause. President Vladimir Putin said that Russian forces will conduct hot fighting from midnight on May 8 to midnight on May 10. The announcement comes amid rising pressure from the United States for Moscow to agree to a full ceasefire in the conflict. Police say the suspects in the Canadian car ramming attack that left 11 dead at a Filipino street party acted deliberately and had a history of mental health problems. No motive has been confirmed for the Saturday evening attack in the western city of Vancouver, though terrorism was ruled out by police. The ramming shocked the country a day before a general election dominated by U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs on Canadian products and his threat to annex his northern neighbor that has been a key ally and trading partner.
Possible to overstate how many lives have been impacted forever by this lone individual. There are many unanswered questions about why this horrific crime happened, the motive of the person who did it, and whether anything could have been done to prevent it. There are many things we still don't know, but we are working hard to get all of the answers.
Police Chief Ray raised the death toll from 9 and said the 30-year-old suspect driving a black Audi SUV had a significant history of interaction with police and mental health care professionals.
There are now 11 confirmed fatalities. We believe dozens more are injured, some seriously, and the number of dead could rise in the coming days or weeks.
Prime Minister Mark Carney, in a brief address to the nation, broke into tears as he addressed the tragedy. Uyi Agmofwegbe, reporting for Global. The United States government has fingered corruption as the major stumbling block to trade and investment in Nigeria. Speaking in the last 2025 National Trade Estimate Report on Foreign Trade Barriers, Office of the United States Trade Representative and said corruption and lack of transparency in tender processes are major concerns to U.S. companies. United States firms experience difficulties in day-to-day operations as a result of inappropriate demands from officials for facilitative payments. Efforts to strengthen anti-corruption measures have been hampered by inter-ministerial infighting and partisan politics. Let's bring the world news closer to home now. Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo have signed an agreement to respect each other's sovereignty and come up with a draft peace deal by 2nd of May. The deal was signed by the two countries' foreign ministers in Washington, with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio also present at the meeting.
Thank you all for being here today. I'm honored to be here with my counterparts, the foreign ministers of Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo, to witness the Declaration of Principles for Peace.
Hundreds of thousands of civilians have been displaced in recent months as Rwanda-backed M23 rebels have seized swathes of mineral-rich territory in eastern DR Congo. After losing territory, the government in Kinshasa turned to the United States for help in exchange for access to the minerals. However, there are indications that both sides are now committing to lasting peace.
We are clear in the Great Lakes region, peace must come first, followed by the rebuilding of trust, and then, only when conditions are right, the careful reopening of a path to meaningful bilateral cooperation.
Relations have been poor between DR Congo and Rwanda, that the meeting in Washington and a promise to resolve disputes through dialogue is a sign of progress.
Our common aim is to conclude a comprehensive peace agreement as soon as possible. But there are no shortcuts or quick fixes, and we have to do the hard work to get it done right, once and for all. Rwanda is committed, and we are ready to continue working together with all the partners involved to ensure the success of this initiative.
Earlier this week, DR Congo and the M23 group said they were committed to peace, expressing hopes that a permanent ceasefire could be reached. Uyi Agmofwegbe, reporting for Global Television News. Now time to turn to sports for some excitement. Second half substitute Olamilekan Adedayo has proved decisive for Remo Stars again, scoring a late winner in their 1-0 win over Nigeria Tornadoes and secured the 2024-2025 Nigeria Premier Football League title with 3 goals to spare. Following Rivers United's tumble in Kano on Friday, Remo were poised for their first taste of success in the Nigerian top flight, but they had to dig deep against the resilient Tornadoes, who were also battling relegation. Barcelona defender Jules Koundé struck deep in extra time to decide a gripping Copa del Rey Clásico final on Saturday in Seville, earning his side a 3-2 win over rivals Real Madrid. Coach Flick spoke after the crucial encounter.
I think for everything, I'm really proud. I appreciate a lot what they are doing on the pitch. They never give up, and I think everyone is proud about this team. Not only I, the fans, the club, everyone, and they deserved it tonight. And of course, the second half was Real did it really good, but at the end, Jules. No, he in the extra time he saved 2 chances from Real, and he made the goal. And it's unbelievable. It's really unbelievable.
The Catalans, aiming for a quadruple this season, won the first major trophy of Hansi Flick's reign as coach and the second, a record extending 32nd Spanish Cup in a dramatic fashion. Barcelona winger Lamine Yamal has claimed Real Madrid cannot handle this season. Yamal was speaking after Hansi Flick's men came from behind to beat their bitter rivals in the Copa del Rey. Jules Koundé struck a dramatic 116th minute winner to clinch the trophy after Ferran Torres' late goal had forced the game into extra time. Manchester United are continuing their efforts to secure the signing of Brazilian forward Matheus Cunha, with negotiations on final contract details currently underway. Transfer expert Fabrizio Romano confirmed the development, stating Manchester United keep working to seal Matheus Cunha a deal very soon, a plan confirmed since 1 week ago. Looks like a developing story now. But to end News Express on Global Television, here is a recap of some of our top stories. The Nigerian Army has appealed to citizens to avoid wearing military uniforms illegally, emphasizing that respecting the uniform is an important part of strengthening national security and building trust between the military and the public. In business, the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Olayemi Cardoso, says the reforms implemented by President Bola Tinubu's government in the past 18 months are not easy, but delivering results. On the foreign scene, Russia has declared 72-hour unilateral ceasefire in Ukraine and called on Kyiv to agree to the pause. And finally, in sports, second-half substitute Olamilekan Adedayo proved decisive for Remo Stars again, scoring a late winner in their 1-0 win over Niger Tornadoes and secured the 2024-2025 Nigeria Premier Football League title with 3 games to spare. And that was your News Express here on Global Television. A quick reminder that we are on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using a Global TV NG as well as other handles as you now see on your screen. Kindly download the Global TV Nigeria mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our 247 broadcast. On behalf of my colleagues who made these news broadcasts possible, I'm Uya Agumofwebe saying we will see you again